All right, guys. Here's our next lathe video. Let's see if I can get this set up. All right. So this will be a shorter one. On, off, safety in terms of emergency offs and speed adjustments. So there's this knob over here on our apron that actually turns our lathe on and off. All right. It can actually determine the rotation of the lathe as well. Now, 95% of the time, we want our spindle rotating counterclockwise, all right? We want it rotating, it's gonna hit this tool. I have a tool like this, all right? And I want my lathe rotating into that tool, all right? And the way this is set up, if I take this knob right here, I push it over and I pull it down. Down causes my lathe to rotate counterclockwise. I'll bring it back up here to the middle. If I rotate it up, it's now going to rotate clockwise. Like I said, 95% of the time we're going to rotate counterclockwise. Now, not every lathe works like that. Some lathes you move down and it rotates clockwise. And you move it up and it rotates counterclockwise. You got to just turn on the lathe and figure it out, all right? So you want to rotate it counterclockwise. So whatever that means in terms of the handle, that's the way you want it to rotate. So there's always a handle on every lathe right about here, and whether you move it down or whether you move it up. Please, if you change directions, make sure the spindle comes to a stop before you reverse directions, all right? Down here, that red pedal, that's your emergency brake. All right, I turn on this lathe, you can hear it spinning, it's off. All right, anything goes wrong, you hit that emergency brake. Just hit it with your foot. All right, and then lastly is speed adjustments. Let me see if I can move you guys over here a little closer. All right, so hopefully you can see this panel here. All right, now. Right now, you could see I'm on letter G, K, P. Oops, can't see the P. All right, I'm on G, K, P. Looking at this chart, G, K, P, I'm rotating this at about 160 revolutions per minute. All right. For most of the stuff we want is about 325. I'll show you guys formulas how to do this at some point, but for now, just trust me on that. We'll do that in class. I don't know if a video works for that very well. All right, so I want to turn my dials to HLM. Now, this is easiestly done when you're rotating the spindle as well. You're literally changing the gears inside of here to go to a different speed. So if I want to go to 325, I want HLM. Rotate the spindle as you change the gears so those gears could mesh really well. All right, HLM. I'll move this over to L, and I'll move this over to M. Again, rotate those gears. Rotate the spindle with the machine off to make sure that everything feels smooth in there. Now, when I turn this on, I'll be rotating at 325 RPMs, which is pretty good for a lot of the steel that we're going to do here. All right, so this chart and a series of these three levers meshes three separate gears to get any of these desired speeds. All right, last thing I'm going to talk about is this right here. This is like a high and a low setting. If you look right here, do not operate a position above 650 RPMs. So if we're going above 650 right here, we got to change this over to B because we're using some different gears to achieve these higher speeds. All right. So we probably won't do that. These higher speeds up here is for aluminum, maybe brass or bronze. I'd have to look it up, but these are for softer metals. We're doing mainly steel, so we're going to be down in this range. So we really shouldn't have to adjust that too much. All right. Okay. If you guys have any questions, let's talk about it in class.